The Diplomat, 12th of March 2024, you may be surprised to learn how different Biden and Trump's China policies are. The two presidential contenders struck many of the same rhetorical chords. However, they have taken somewhat different approaches to competing with China. While many people balk at the idea of Joe Biden and Donald Trump facing each other again, the conclusion of Super Tuesday effectively ended Nikki Haley's attempt to run against the outgoing Republican president. The two presidential contenders are vying to up the ante against China as their second debate, scheduled for November, gets closer than expected. Therefore, some think the US's general China policy may not change much, whether a winner or a loser. That could be accurate, rhetorically speaking. In actuality, though, there might be a more significant difference between their strategies for China than first thought. Throughout his six-decade political career, Biden has proven skilled at striking a balance with China and modifying his message for various audiences. At home, he faced intense anti-Chinese sentiment during his presidency due to rumors over the cause of the COVID-19 outbreak and China's assertive wolf warrior diplomacy. In light of this, even though Biden reversed several of Trump's measures, he held on to the most prominent aspect, the tariffs his predecessor had imposed on Chinese goods. As his administration wore on, Biden took pains to progressively tighten the screws on Beijing's technological advancement without drawing much criticism from worried Americans. Throughout his administration, Biden deliberately carried out his China strategy to mitigate the political costs incurred while addressing the widespread anti-China attitude among the domestic audience. This strategy not only prevented his opponents from painting him as a soft-spoken politician but also insulated him from the majority of the criticism directed at Trump for his interactions with the dominant Asian nation. In contrast to Trump's isolationist posture, Biden has established himself on the international scene as a coordinator among the U.S.'s long-standing allies who is also eager to work with China. Reiterating the United States' steadfast leadership in the face of China's assertiveness, Biden has, on the one hand, allied partners in the Indo-Pacific and throughout the world to confront Chinese military presence and aggression in the South China Sea. However, he has actively engaged with China, setting up high-level talks to reduce tensions between the two countries. This includes encounters with Chinese President Xi Jinping, even in the face of sporadic obstacles like the Chinese surveillance balloon that flew over the American mainland at the beginning of 2023. While Biden has had some success managing China, his overall foreign policy has shortcomings, best illustrated by two significant losses in the Middle East that have given China new geopolitical chances. First, the disorganized U.S. forces' departure from Afghanistan seriously damaged the U.S. military's reputation, particularly when it came to deterring China and other hostile nations. Secondly, the Biden administration has not been able to present a workable solution to the protracted dispute between Israel and Hamas. China's narrative as a proactive peacekeeper has been strengthened by the U.S. veto of an urgent humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, thereby undermining the country's leadership position in the global south. This has been achieved through China's shuttle diplomacy operations. These foreign policy blunders could work to the GOP's advantage by perpetuating preconceived notions about their perceived superiority over the Democrats in international affairs. It is politically wise for the Biden administration to concentrate on a less contentious target, China, to at least partially neutralize the negative impact of these setbacks, which can easily create internal reactions in today's United States and arouse suspicion from the international community. Biden's narrative of China-US ties as a competition rated in the 2024 State of the Union speech, is an example of this tactic. However, Trump does not share Biden's perspective on striking a balance between foreign policy's international and domestic facets. Operating on the America First policy, the former president frequently disregarded worries about undermining American leadership and prioritized initiatives he thought would benefit the U.S. economy. Therefore, in 2020, shortly after signing the Phase 1 trade deal aimed at rebalancing trade between the two countries, Trump was willing to call China-US relations the best relationship we've ever had during the State of the Union address, despite his frequent use of a negative tone when speaking about China. Trump recently boasted of his intentions to start a second term of a trade war with China by slapping tariffs of 60% or more on Chinese imports. Still, there are two significant reasons why this is extremely unlikely to happen. First, many Republicans in the business and rural areas have already opposed Trump's plans to impose further taxes on Chinese imports, Several GOP China hawks have even sided with Democrats to express their disapproval. Second, inflation and recession risks remain even though the U.S. economy has progressively recovered under the Biden administration. Trump's goal would be undermined by raising tariffs on Chinese goods, possibly destroying the American economy once more. His initiatives have continuously focused on promoting economic growth. Biden and Trump's views of Taiwan may be where their differences regarding China policy are most noticeable. Biden has repeatedly declared categorically that if China launched an unprovoked attack on Taiwan, the U.S. would defend Taiwan. In addition, he has persisted in bolstering partnerships and alliances in the Indo-Pacific area despite China's growing assertiveness. Trump, on the other hand, labeled Taiwan as an economic competitor and claimed that it took away American companies. As a member of the GOP's New Right, Trump has intensified his efforts to move toward isolationism, as seen by his rejection of a Senate plan that would have allowed Taiwan, Israel, and Ukraine to receive foreign aid. China conjectured that if Trump were to win the election, the U.S. may turn its back on Taiwan due to his lack of interest in the region. Even while Biden still emphasizes competition with China, he is more predictable than Trump because of his extensive political background and stronger hold on the Republican Party than ever. While Trump mostly sees the competition with China through an economic prism, Biden has turned it into a philosophical and political problem. Therefore, China will watch the November 2024 election as a match between an unpredictable opportunist and a predictable hardliner. Both presidential contenders' attacks on China will probably get more aggressive as the election draws near. However, further information about their policy differences will also become apparent as more refined versions of their China strategies surface.